I'll be presenting the pathology protocol in this 40-year-old female with a hospital stay of 1.5 months at her last admission and a clinical diagnosis of chronic lymphocytic leukemia, progressive disease, query Richter transformation with non-resolving pneumonia, query bacterial, query fungal. This was a complete autopsy and the serous cavities were found to be within normal limits as per the prosectors. I'll start with the organ of basic disease. So this is the post-mortem bone marrow section, which shows marrow spaces which are hypercellular for age, along with multiple friable and thinned out bony trabeculae. These are the HiPAR images to show a spectrum of findings. There were areas of patchy bone marrow fibrosis, along with infiltration of the bone marrow spaces by atypical mononuclear cell population. The other hematopoietic bone marrow elements were markedly suppressed, and only occasional megakaryocytes could be identified, along with few hemostridin-laden macrophages. Further, the focal presence of these hemostridin-laden macrophages was highlighted on the Pearl stain. The reticulin was slightly increased to a score of 2+. The PS Alcium blue stain in the bone marrow sections highlighted areas of mucinous degeneration, while the Mason trichome stain highlighted the thinned out bony trabeculae, suggesting osteopenia in this patient. Further, on IHC panel, the atypical mononuclear cell population stained positive for CD45 and CD20, while CD3 was negative in these cells and only highlighted in the scattered T lymphoid cells, and this corresponded to the antemortem findings of bone marrow infiltration by CLL cells. So diagnosis on the post-mortem bone marrow section is hypercellular bone marrow with infiltration by CD45 positive, CD20 positive and CD3 negative mononuclear cells, causing a total replacement of the normal hematopoietic elements consistent with chronic lymphocytic leukemia. The small and the large bowel on gross examination were unremarkable on the mucosal aspect. However, there were multiple enlarged and congested pericolic lymph nodes measuring almost 1 centimeter in the longest dimension. In addition, there were also multiple enlarged mesenteric group of lymph nodes. On microscopic examination, these enlarged lymph nodes showed a thickened capsule with the loss of nodal architecture of the underlying lymph node parenchyma due to presence of these diffuse population of atypical mononuclear cells, which could also be seen infiltrating into the surrounding perinodal soft tissue, suggestive of infiltration by leukemia cells. This is the HiPAR to show this atypical mononuclear cell population within the lymph node, along with many proliferating endothelial cells. Further, these atypical cells again stained positive for CD20, while the CD3 was highlighted in the scattered T lymphoid cells. The small and the large intestine were largely unremarkable, except for slight submucosal fibrosis, which was seen in sections from large intestine. This is the organ complex comprising of the main tracheobronchial tree along with bilateral lungs, which weighed 1,154 grams. Both the lungs showed multiple whitish nodular areas which were better felt than seen, along with a large abscess cavity in the left lower lobe of lung with a fibrosing wall. The tracheobronchial tree was relatively clean and did not show any obvious aspirated material. However, there were multiple enlarged hilar group of lymph nodes. The pleural aspect on the right lobe was overall shiny, however showed areas of nodularity and discoloration on closer view, while the pleura on the left lung showed areas of thickening which corresponded to the underlying abscess cavity in the left lower lobe. This is the closer view to appreciate the cut section of the liver, which shows these multiple whitish nodular areas, along with areas of peribronchial fibrosis and increased collagenization. Some smaller bronchioles also showed presence of inspissated material, and this is the large abscess cavity in the lower lobe with a thick fibrosing wall. This is the closer view of the pleura on the right lung, which shows areas of nodularity and discoloration, and the closer view of the cut section showing multiple whitish nodular areas. These are the representative images from multiple areas, different areas of the liver, which show a near total destruction of the bronchial cartilage and non-visualization of the submucosal glands of the bronchus. And the lumen is almost occluded by exudate, which is rich in fibrinous material, along with many fungal hyphae, which were not only occluding the lumen, but could also be seen infiltrating the surrounding wall. The adjoining lung alveoli were also filled with fibrinous exudate and fresh hemorrhage. On HIPAR, these fungal hyphae could be discerned as broad aseptate hyphae showing right-angled to occasional acute-angled branching, and were also highlighted on PAS and Grocott staining, morphologically conforming to that of mucormycosis. Further, the sections from the large abscess cavity as well as smaller abscesses within the lung parenchyma showed a lumen which was filled with exudative material, fungal hyphae, along with a fibrosing wall, which was also highlighted on the Mason trichome stain. The pleura in the left lower lobe overlying the abscess cavity was thickened. There was squamous metaplasia of the ectatic bronchus. EVG stain was performed to highlight and delineate the luminal structures, which were highlighted as the bronchial cartilage and the accompanying coronary artery. The stain for AFB in the lung sections were negative. However, the Mason trichome stain highlighted interstitial fibrosis. The enlarged hilar group of lymph nodes on microscopic examination also showed a thickened capsule with the loss of nodal architecture due to presence of these atypical population of mononuclear cells. Again, this is the HIPAR to show this diffuse population of atypical mononuclear cells in the enlarged hilar group of lymph nodes. Further on HIPAR, these atypical cells could be seen to be 2 to 3 times the size of small mature lymphocytes, having compact nuclei with condensed chromatin and inconspicuous nuclei and a scant amount of cytoplasm. However, there was no significant anisonucleosis or any unduly enlarged cells to suggest a transformation on morphology. Further, the Ki67 index also in these sections was low, around 2 to 3%, excluding a Richter transformation. The gross examination of the esophagus showed mucosal erosions, while the stomach showed diffuse mucosal congestion. The representative microphotograph from the esophagus shows an intact lining epithelium with areas of submucosal hemorrhage. The stomach showed diffuse mucosal congestion, in addition to areas of hemorrhagic necrosis in the muscle wall of the stomach, which on HIPAR and on PA staining highlighted the presence of these fungal hyphae within the necrotic areas in stomach. This is the organ complex comprising of liver, gallbladder, pancreas and a slice of liver, and a few enlarged peripancreatic lymph nodes are also identified. The liver was overweight for age, weighing 2,360 grams, however did not show any focal lesions, areas of congestion or fatty change. The splenic vein and the portal vein were dissected out grossly and were unremarkable. However, there were multiple enlarged peripancreatic and hilar group of lymph nodes. This is a representative microphotograph from the liver, which shows areas of portal bridging fibrosis, along with infiltration of the portal triads by inflammatory infiltrate. This is the HIPAR view to show the portal triad infiltration by these inflammatory cells. The surrounding hepatocytes were well maintained. On HIPAR, these inflammatory infiltrate were seen to be comprising of lymphocytes, some plasma cells and eosinophils, and there was no infiltration by the leukemic cells. Further, there were areas showing centrizonal sinusoidal dilatation and congestion, suggesting features of shock as a terminal event. The reticulin condensation was not there, and hepatitis B core antigen in these sections were negative. Further, the sections from spleen highlighted the thickened capsule, which underlying parenchyma showing depletion of the white pulp. There was periarteriolar infiltration mononuclear cells, which were atypical and similar in morphology as were seen in the bone marrow and hilar group of lymph nodes. The Pearl stain highlighted focal presence of these hemosiderin-containing macrophages. However, there was no overall increase in the hemosiderin content of the spleen. The microscopic sections from the pancreas shows areas of periductal fibrosis along with acina rectaceae, again suggesting features of shock as a terminal event in the organ. The heart on gross examination weighed 233 grams and was grossly unremarkable. The coronaries which were dissected out were also within normal limits. The microscopy sections from the heart showed features of terminal ischemia in form of interstitial edema, variation in the size of the muscle fibers along with atrophy of these muscle fibers, loss of nuclear details as well as hypereosinophilia. There was no inflammation or infiltration by leukemic cells in the heart. The brain on the gross examination weighed 1,182 grams, showed narrowing of sulci with mild tonsillar herniation suggesting cerebral edema. The brainstem and cerebellum were normal on the gross examination. The representative microphotographs from the brain also show mild cerebral edema. The subarachnoid space and the meningeal vessels were normal, and age-appropriate focal calcification was identified in the areas of choroid plexus. However, there was no infiltration by leukemic cells, which was identifiable in the sections from brain. The bilateral kidneys weighed 340 grams and on cut section showed corticomedullary dysfunction. The urinary bladder on cut section showed areas of hemorrhage within the wall. The representative microphotographs from the kidney showed tubular dilatation with shedding of the epithelial cells, interstitial edema, along with presence of many proteinaceous as well as pigment-containing casts. The glomeruli showed areas of patchy basement membrane thickening and stiffening, which was further highlighted beautifully on the PAS stain. The Pearl stain for hemostradin was negative. However, the DAP stain highlighted the RBC breakdown products within the tubules, namely the hematoidin. The direct immunofluorescence performed for IgG, IgA, IgM, C3 in kappa lambda were negative, and the electron microscopy also showed the patchy basement membrane thickening and stiffening. The sections from the urinary bladder showed an intact lining epithelium with areas of submucosal hemorrhage. The right ovary, the bilateral fallopian and uterus were on gross and microscopic examination within normal limits. However, the left ovary had shown a cyst on the gross examination, which microscopically was confirmed to be a hemorrhagic cyst. The skin, thyroid gland and the adrenal gland on gross as well as on microscopic examination were normal, and there was no infiltration by leukemic cells in these organs. So my final autopsy diagnosis in this 40-year-old female with a known diagnosis of CLL is presence of disease in bone marrow, hilar, mesenteric and pericolic group of lymph nodes in spleen, long-standing bronchiectasis with multiple abscesses in lungs, with a large cavitatory abscess in the left lower lobe of fungal etiology, diffuse gastric erosions with a focus of fungal infection, submucosal hemorrhage in esophagus, mild portal triditis with features of shock, terminal ischemic changes in heart, mild cerebral edema, and acute tubular necrosis with patchy basement membrane thickening. Thank you.